Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. The Russians seem to run behind schedule with their monthly missile attack. As you probably know, they used us with the unfortunate attack of the Ukrainian territory with missiles, massive missile attacks, about 100 on average, let's say 90, 110, something like that. It didn't happen yet. There are signs that the Russians are getting ready for it, but nothing occurred so far. The last Russian massive missile attack was on the 9th of March 2023, when they launched about 84 missiles that day. I covered an article coming from the Ukrainians this morning stating that the Russians conducted a massive attack on Zaporozhye Oblast. Their government, the governor of Zaporozhye Oblast, the Ukrainian governor of Zaporozhye Oblast, whatever it's left out of, reported that. That was not a massive attack as, the regular attacks. So usually when the Russians, before they conduct the massive attacks, the Russians bring together their Black Sea fleet, and usually they have about 24, 30 maximum salvo of caliber cruise missiles. They bring submarines, warships, sometimes 15, sometimes 10. Now we have an article coming from Ukrainska Pravda that will tell us that there are submarines ready. They have some caliber cruise missiles ready, but I don't think that's the number required for a missile attack that the Russians usually, how the Russians usually performed. And I would like to discuss why the Russians are maybe running behind schedule. So let's read this article first, which, as I said, it comes from Ukrainska Pravda. I'm sorry, from Ukrinform, it's right in front of my nose. It's from the 16th of April 2023, so that is today, Sunday. The two Russian submarines equipped with 8 caliber missiles on combat duty in Black Sea. 2 Russian submarines equipped with 8 caliber cruise missiles are remaining on combat duty in the Black Sea. It's interesting because they usually have warships, not submarines on combat duty with caliber. They have 1, rarely 2. And right now they have this. Let's see how many, maybe they're going to tell us how many warships they have ready. The relevant statement was made by head of the United Coordinating Press Center of the Southern Defense Force, Natalia Humenyuk, during a nationwide telethon. Ukrainian correspondent reports, and I'm quoting, the naval group of Russia continues maneuvering, but remains within its missile-safe area. Unfortunately, they can reach Ukraine's territory from there. Hence, the threat is persisting. 2 submarines equipped with 8 caliber type missiles are on combat duty, Humenyuk told. In her words, a surface missile ship is likely to join the enemy's naval group. Okay. A reminder that on April 16, 2023, Russian troops opened fire on the Mykolaiv region's Snihurivka community. 2 teenagers were reportedly killed. Okay, now we got that covered. So let's discuss what could be some of the reasons the Russians are postponing this. It doesn't have to be exactly amount. It doesn't have to be within amount from the last missile attack launched. It could be after a month and a half, it could be maybe 2, but what could be the reasons? Well, one obvious reason that the Western media and the Ukrainian media is very, very quick to point out to is that the Russians ran out of missiles. Well, that's a possibility. Probability, I would give it, 40%. Chance that they ran out of missiles. I don't think they did. Maybe I should drop it to maybe 20%. But anyway, chance. Possibility? Yeah, it's possible. Now, what else could that be? I think that first, we don't know their schedule and we do not know their intentions and their plans. Let's put it this way. Maybe they're not going to conduct any for about 5 months because they don't think it's in their advantage to do it now. Why did they do it since they started it the massive missile attacks, if you remember, they started it only after the Ukrainian commandos, allegedly, or whomever, organized by the Ukrainian special forces, blew up part of the Kerch bridge, the Crimean bridge. Only that I think was on 8th of September or October. I think it was September. One of those. Anyway, one of those. It doesn't matter. On the 9th, then the Russians started pouring missiles on, they say, civilian infrastructure in Ukraine. Only then. Before that, it was not like that. So since then, they started sometimes 2 times a month, 1 time a month, and so on. 3 times a month, like in December, I think it was 3 times. It was on the 26th, 29th, and I think at the beginning on the 5th or something, 6th. So anyway, that's when they started. And they started when the temperatures were starting to drop in Ukraine, if you know what I mean. So they started destroying civilian infrastructure like energy, the transmission, the delivery of electricity, for instance. That's why they destroyed. Why? So they put pressure on the population, which, I don't know, you can name it however you want, and also on the military. So that's when they started. Now, it seems like spring is here. So maybe they say, well, we're not going to hit again those, energy facilities and all that, the civilian infrastructure, they say, but because it's not going to have the effect that it would have had and had in the winter, which is freeze the other side. Well, I mean, what other reason could that be? Just to show them that they're tough guys? No. So this could be another reason, which I think could be one of the reasons why they're not going to blow up now again, those transformers and transmitters and whatever, energy suppliers. It doesn't mean that it cannot hit military targets, but they didn't do it this way before that. And why did they start after the Kerch Bridge attack? Is because, for instance, Medvedev, the former Russian president, said clearly, if you guys hit Crimea or the Kerch Bridge, we're going to unleash on you. Which they did. And everybody was crying, well, were the Ukrainians entitled, let's put it this, to do that? I don't see why. It's war. So I'm not defending the Ukrainians, but wait a minute, you hit my towns, I'm not supposed to hit your towns? How is that? Unless I say, well, you hitting my town is bad, but I hitting your towns is good, which is basically the... So after you hit the infrastructure, the civilian infrastructure, a bridge, they say, well, it's used by the army. Electricity is used by the army as well. Food is used by the army as well. You're not going to blow up, food locations for the population because some military will get food from there, But if you remember NATO, remember how they justified certain kind of attacks like that. They say, well, no. We're going to blow up those, locations and targets because the military also uses that. Or the same here. Well, military also uses this. I mean, if you go extrapolate it and go blah, 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 like this, then you will find out that actually civilians would be just justified targets because they supply the military. I mean, if you go by that. But remember how NATO general, it's a specific one, who reasoned like that in Yugoslavia. Said, yeah, that's why we hit those civilian infrastructure because they also blah, 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 and what can you do about it? Nothing. So shut up. Basically, that's what they said. So then the Russians said the same thing here. Hey, do you remember when you did this? Yeah, but it was us, and we're the good people. Basically, that was the answer, like kindergarten, sandbox arguments between 2 toddlers. So this is what I think. So I don't think, as I said, it's their interest to do it now. And the second, I think that could be that they will not, they save their missiles for more important strikes. Or they simply don't want to do it now. They probably do it after I finish this video, who knows. And I suspect they will do it. Because otherwise they will be called out as, hey, see, we were right, they ran out of missiles. I don't think that's the case. I said maybe 20%, I would give that as an option. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.